everyone. We are now going to discuss Chapter 4, Children's Self-Concept and Identity Formation. So under this, we have the following topics. Um, we have the definitions, development of self-concept, aspect of the development, the components of self-concept, factors that influence children's self-concept. Now, under the identity and formation, we have the definition, of course, theories on identity formation. So, what is self-concept? It can be defined as the view one has of his or herself and his or her abilities. It refers to how someone thinks about or evaluates or perceives themselves. To be aware of oneself is to have a concept of oneself. So, sex, age, height, personality, and likes and dislikes are all part of self-concept. We go now to the six specific domains related to self-concept by Bracken. So we have here, first, social, the ability to interact with others. Second, competence, ability to meet basic needs. Third, affect, awareness of emotional states. Fourth, physical, feelings about looks, health, physical condition, and overall appearance. Fifth, academic, success or failure in school. Sixth, family, the ability to interact with others. Development of self-concept. A children's self-concept begins to develop at birth. It begins with how adults respond to them. So in this, the love and care of parents to their children when they were still infants create a positive emotional bond, and because of this, it promotes healthy self-concept, and it also serves as the basis of their children's relationship with other people. Next, the ability of children to interact successfully with their environment promotes a healthy and positive self-concept, which empowers them to feel competent, try new things, and strive for success. Next, children with a positive self-concept have a can-do attitude. They become confident in their ability to complete tasks without help or with minimal help. They do not exhibit problematic behaviors, as doing so would be against their positive self-concept. So, these children feel liked and accepted. They feel proud of what they can do. They think good things about themselves, and they also believe in themselves. Now, how about children with a negative self-concept? They have a can't-do attitude. They become frustrated easily and give up on difficult tasks. These children may exhibit behavior problems if naughty or bad is a part of their self-concept. So they are self-critical and hard on themselves. They feel that they are not good as other kids. They think, um, sorry for the slides. As I was saying, yes, we go back to the children with negative self-concept. They think of their failures rather than their successes, and they lack of confidence and doubt that they can do things well. Now we go to the aspect of the development of self-concept according to M. Lewis. According to Lewis, the development of self involves two main steps. Rather. So the first one is the existential self. After having realized that they exist as a separate experiencing beings, they become aware of being objects in the world. So the child is becoming aware of themselves as objects which can be experienced and which has properties. They could identify into different categories such as age, gender, size, or skill. Next one is the categorical self. It is the sense of being separate and distinct from others and the awareness of the constancy of the self. So, in this stage, the children realize that they exist a separate entity from others and that they continue to exist over time and space. So, according to Lewis, awareness of the existential self begins as young as 2 to 3 months old and arises in part due to the relation that the child has with the world. Next, psychologist Carl Rogers asserted that there are three components or parts of self-concept. We have your self-image, self-esteem, and ideal self. Self-image. Individual self-concept is influenced or shaped by many factors, such as parental influences, friends, the media, and so on. Next, self-esteem or self-worth. It refers to the extent to which individuals accept or approves of himself or how much a person values himself or herself. So we have your high self-esteem, which means having a positive view of ourselves. This tends to lead to, of course, confidence in our own abilities, self-acceptance, and not worrying about what others may think. So being optimistic. While low self-esteem means having negative view of ourselves. So this tends to lead to lack of confidence and wanted to be someone else or who wants to look like someone else. He or she would always worry about what others may think about him or her. So being pessimistic. Now, what are the factors that influence children's self-concept? We have your family, peers, community, school, age, gender, socioeconomic status, and body image. We go now to identity and identity formation. Psychologists define it as the process of finding our true self. It is individuals' combination of behaviors, preferences, thoughts, talents, and beliefs. So that's identity. Um, there are theories on identity formation. We have here Erickson's view of identity formation, James Marsh's four statuses of identity, and Berzonsky's identity style from inventory. Rather. So we have here first Erickson's view of identity formation. In his theory of psychosocial development, the fifth stage, identity versus role confusion, is described as the stage wherein adolescents must decide on their own identity, who they are, where they are going in life, and what are their strengths and weaknesses. He explained in his theory the stage of personality and role experimentation. Adolescents experience a period of psychological moratorium wherein they try to experiment many roles in order to see what fits them. So personality and role experimentation, example, a teenage boy would experiment with the tough guy image and will then try to show himself in muscular light. So another example is when a teenage girl, she would dress in a variety of revealing modes as she tries to be glamorous and flirty. They may also decide to become religious or studious. This period is important, and adults, the parents, should allow them to have this kind of opportunity for them, of course, to decide and settle which are good for them. So, next, we have James Marsh's four statuses of identity. Identity crisis is defined as a period of identity development during which the adolescent is choosing among meaningful alternatives on a single aspect of personality. It is in the period when adolescents re-examine old values and choices. The end of this stage leads to commitment to certain roles or values. Now, identity commitment is defined as the moment when adolescents show a personal investment in a personality component. So, the four statuses of psychological identity development, we have here identity diffusion. Adolescents have not yet experienced a crisis or made any commitments. They have not yet made any commitment, no. So it is characterized by low level of exploration and low level of commitment. Next is identity foreclosure. Adolescents have made a commitment but have not experienced a crisis. It is characterized by low level of exploration but high degree of commitment. So here in identity foreclosure, they are willing to commit to some relevant roles, values, or goals for the future. Next, we have your identity moratorium. Adolescents are in the midst of a crisis, but whose commitments either are absent or only vaguely defined. It is characterized by high degree of exploration but low degree of commitment. And we have here identity achievement. Adolescents have undergone a crisis and made a commitment to a sense of identity that they have chosen. It is characterized by high degree of exploration and commitment. Identity achievement. Adolescents here are believed to have achieved their identity through a process of active exploration and strong commitment to a particular set of values, beliefs, and life goals that has emerged from this active exploration and examination. So we go now to Bersonsky's identity style inventory. We have here informational. Individuals actively seek out, process, and use self-relevant information when dealing with identity issues, forming commitments. Individuals with an informational identity style are self-disciplined with a clear sense of commitment and direction. They are self-reflective, skeptical, and interested in learning new things about themselves. Next, we have here normative. Individuals conform to the expectations and prescriptions of significant others. So, although people with a normative identity style are also conscientious, self-disciplined, and possess a strong sense of commitment and purpose, they tend to internalize and adhere to the goals, expectations, and standards of significant others or referent groups in a relatively more automatic manner. They have a foreclosed identity status. They also have a limited tolerance for uncertainty and a strong need for structure and closure. And their primary goal here is to defend and preserve their existing self views rather and identity structure. Next, we have here the diffuse avoidant. Individuals deliberately avoid having to deal with personal conflicts and decisions. They are procrastinator or a person who delays or put things off like their work, chores, or other actions that should be done in a timely manner. This identity style is associated with an external locus of control, limited self-control, weak commitments, self-handicapping attributions and behaviors, problem behaviors, and a diffusion identity status. So next, we have here the forms of identity. First, we have your ethnic and cultural identity. It refers to the identity acquired by an individual because of his or her ethnicity and cultural background. Next, gender identity. It refers to the cultural concepts of masculinity and femininity which define or categorize a person. Last one is the sexual identity. It is developed during adolescence as a teen experiences puberty and sexual attraction. And so that's the end of my presentation. Thank you all for listening and keep safe. Po. Thank you. Bye.